Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Pink Cloud Frequency. I am your host, Brianna Wynn, and I am so excited for today's episode because I have been super busy lately working on building this alcohol free program for women, being a mom, living life, learning how to video podcast, and doing all the things. So I couldn't be more excited to come back to what I love, which is podcasting for women. And of course, being a mother to my 16-year-old son. And any opportunity to combine the two, yes, please. Naturally, I've been thinking a lot more about motherhood lately and not the big, obvious parts of motherhood, but the little moments, the everyday moments, the conversations in the car, eating dinner with my son, doing last minute things. Because now that he is older and about to have his license soon, I just look sometimes at him and I'm like, how did we get here so fast? And I think becoming more aware of how quickly these years are moving by has been making me a lot more reflective lately on our relationship and on the years that I was drinking. I never thought of myself as a parent who wasn't present, especially being that I'm a single mom. I was always there. I showed up. I never missed a hockey game, an appointment, a parent teacher conference, an event. I was present for nearly everything. There wasn't much that I missed over the years. But there is a difference between showing up physically and being fully present. And I didn't realize just how much alcohol was affecting my presence until I quit drinking for good. There were times in the past when my son would speak to me and I would completely zone out. I was distracted about the next thing, all the thoughts in my head. And he would say to me, "You always take so long to respond." And it's simply because I hadn't actually listened to a word he'd said, or I heard his words, but I hadn't actually processed them. There were days with my son, I picked him up from school, and we would have no conversation or minimal conversation at best. There have been days where he stayed in his bedroom all day and only came out to eat. At the time, I just considered it par for the course. He's growing up. He's a boy. He doesn't want to talk to his mother right now. Little did I fully understand, I was missing little pieces of the everyday experience with him. The conversations, the random stories, the 5 minutes in the kitchen while I'm cooking dinner, the opportunity to sit down and really listen to him reflect on his day. What happened? What was funny? What was surprising? What was going on in his friendships and his relationship? And those are the moments that I cherish the most now in a way that I never would have been able to fully appreciate if I were still drinking. When your kids are little, you expect motherhood to be exhausting and chaotic and all consuming all the time. When you're in the middle of that, it's easy to think that the big moments are the moments that matter the most. But once your children get older, you start to realize just how quickly those little windows of connection can come and go. What I didn't understand at the time is that it's not necessarily the big moments that create the strongest connection with your children. It's the micro moments of presence that do. But when those micro moments of presence are consistently interrupted by alcohol or distraction or impatience or simply not being emotionally available, it can affect the way your children experience you in a way that you may not even recognize. Think of the micro moments of absence. being mentally somewhere else while your children are talking to you, thinking about your next drink instead of being engaged in what's happening right in front of you, waiting for the evening to be over so you can finally have your time, being less patient than you know you're capable of, being more interested in what you're doing later, feeling emotionally checked out because you still have things on your to do list that haven't been completed, or telling your kids later you'll talk to them because you don't have capacity in the moment. But it's all of those moments that actually define the strength of the relationship with your children, because those are the moments with your children that connection and trust are built. Your children don't need you to be physically present every moment of every single day. Of course, there are times when you can't be there, right? But being emotionally available is everything. Your children notice when you're really listening to when you're talking to them. They notice when you seem interested in what matters more to them. They notice the patience that you have if you're able to sit there and listen to a story for 10 minutes, or if you just start zoning out. They notice whether or not you're approachable. And especially as kids get older, those little windows of connection become even more important because your teenager isn't going to come to you at the exact moment that it's good for you. They aren't going to schedule an appointment with you. They're not going to say, "Hey, mom, 7 p.m. after dinner on Wednesday, I'd like to have a meaningful conversation with you." You have no idea when your kids are going to approach you. It might happen when you're cooking dinner, maybe in the car, on the way to a game or after a game. It could be when you're exhausted and you've had a long day. It might happen when you're already thinking about getting into bed. And sometimes it's just a random comment they make as they're walking from their bedroom to the living room. You don't know which moments are going to turn into memories. You don't know which conversations are going to open the door for deeper conversation. You don't know which moments are going to tell you something about the person that your child is becoming. And I think that's one of the reasons that remaining alcohol free matters so much to me now, because I don't want my availability to depend on whether or not I've had a drink. If my son wants to talk to me about his future goals, his relationships, school, college, and he does, right? But I can't control when those moments happen. I can only control whether or not I'm available to experience them with him. And now I know what I was truly missing out on. Last week, my son invited me to yoga with his girlfriend. We didn't end up going, but it was the point because he would never have invited me to yoga if I was still drinking. And that's not because I was some terrible mother when I drank, but it's because our relationship is different now. It's deeper now. And there's a level of connection and openness that didn't previously exist. And just recently, we were talking about a concert I was supposed to attend with a friend a couple years ago. She couldn't go, so I gave the tickets to my son and one of his friends. And somehow that concert came up in conversation. And my son asked, "Why didn't we just go together?" Well, why didn't we? It didn't occur to me then that he would have wanted to go with me because the truth is, he probably didn't at that time. I can almost guarantee it. And I certainly wasn't thinking maybe my teenage son would rather go to this concert with his mom. But now he would, and I would, because our relationship is deeper. He invites me places. He isn't repulsed by being seen with me. He shares with me how he feels about life and relationships. He talks to me about his future. He tells me things. And sometimes they're the little things that probably wouldn't mean much to anyone else, but to us moms, they're not little at all because they tell us something about our relationship. They're not small moments. Physical presence and emotional presence are not the same thing. And I didn't understand that difference while I was still drinking. Whereas now, I fully understand that mental and emotional presence is about having the capacity to listen when your child starts talking, having the patience to stay in the conversation and focused, being available when your child is ready, not just when it's convenient for you, letting one conversation turn into an impromptu date at the ice cream shop, being mentally flexible enough to go with the flow and whatever comes from the conversation. And that's what I want for the rest of the years with my son. Because even when you're physically present, you can still miss out on those moments. And I don't want to miss them. And I don't want you to miss them either. So I commend you. I salute you because I know how hard motherhood is. I know how easy it is to get caught up in the exhaustion, the chaos, the constant demands, and just to try to make it through your day sometimes. So, this isn't about judgment or making you feel like you haven't been present enough because I was there too. I was that mom too. I just didn't realize how much more present I could be. I didn't realize how much deeper my relationship with my son could become. I didn't realize how many little moments I was rushing through or missing until I stopped drinking. So, for your reflection, think about a moment with your child that you may have been physically present for, but not fully mentally or emotionally available. And then ask yourself, what might become possible in your relationship if you were fully available for whatever came next? Whether it was going out or learning something new, what would that look like? So, thank you so much for listening today. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with another mom who needs to hear it. I will talk to you all next Wednesday.